Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because, wow, we're unpacking something that literally plays out like a modern-day thriller. But instead of watching it on a movie screen, it's unfolding right now in the palm of your hand on your smartphone. It's a massive global threat, and it's actively draining bank accounts all over the world. We're talking tens of millions of dollars stolen from job seekers every single year. Sometimes it wipes out entire life savings in a matter of days. Today, we're exposing what's known as the fake job scam. We're going to track exactly how this payroll phantom operates, dissect their playbook step by step, and most importantly, show you how to guard your hard-earned cash against them. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with part 1, the text message dream.
Okay, let's dive into this. I really want you to put yourself directly in the shoes of someone receiving this exact message. Imagine you're just sitting on your couch. Maybe you've been super stressed about bills, or you've been endlessly scrolling through job boards for weeks. And suddenly, ding, your phone lights up. Congratulations, you're hired for a remote position at $50 an hour. In that split second, you experience this incredible emotional high. I mean, it feels like an absolute dream come true, right? All your hard work has finally paid off, and this massive wave of relief just washes completely over you.
$50 an hour. That right there is the massive lure that this entire operation hinges on. And these scammers, they know exactly what they're doing by choosing a number just like this. It's high enough to be totally life-changing for a lot of folks, giving us that deep sense of financial security we're all craving. But it's not so crazily high that you immediately write it off as a joke. And think about why this works so flawlessly today. Everyone wants remote work. We want flexibility, we want to ditch the commute, and we want to balance our family life while still bringing in a solid paycheck. This scam is quite literally built to hijack that genuine excitement and our basic human need to provide for ourselves in a modern economy.
So they present you with this beautiful dream, the perfect, high-paying remote job. You could work from your own living room, set your own hours, build a better life. But the reality? Oh man, the reality is a complete financial nightmare that's explicitly designed to systematically drain your bank account. What feels like a lifeline being thrown to you when you need it the absolute most is actually just a highly sophisticated form of digital exploitation. And the truly terrifying part is that this beautiful dream can completely shatter in a matter of seconds, leaving victims in a far worse position than when they started.
Which brings us to part 2, the scammer's approach. How do these phantoms actually find you?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how absolutely mundane their approach is. Scammers are hunting on places like WhatsApp, Telegram, and LinkedIn. We're not talking about shady dark web forums here. These are everyday communication channels you probably have installed on your phone right now. You expect to network with colleagues on LinkedIn or, just chat with your friends on WhatsApp. Because of that everyday familiarity, your guard is naturally way down. Consider how this usually plays out. You get a connection request on LinkedIn from someone posing as a recruiter for a really well-known, reputable company. Their profile looks totally normal. They send a super polite message saying your background is a perfect fit for an unlisted remote role. And then they suggest moving the chat over to WhatsApp or Telegram for a quicker response. It seems so professional. It's flattering. When an unusual approach like this comes through trusted apps masked as a career opportunity, you are significantly more likely to engage.
Okay, so you engage. That leads us right into part 3, taking the bait.
The scammer's bait really relies on 3 distinct pillars. First up, high pay, which we just saw with that $50 an hour hook. Second, low effort. They usually promise flexible hours and super simple tasks, stuff like data entry or basic customer service that pretty much anyone can do. And third, immediate hiring. They completely remove the friction of a traditional interview process. No exhausting rounds of Zoom calls, no rigorous background checks, no calling your references, just instant gratification. And listen, this immediate hiring tactic, it is absolutely the most crucial psychological weapon they have. By moving incredibly fast, they manufacture this false sense of urgency. They'll tell you the position needs to be filled today, which effectively short-circuits your critical thinking. You simply don't have the time to stop, research the company deeply, or ask your friends for their 2 cents because you're terrified of losing this golden opportunity. They're preying entirely on that desire for quick, lucrative work without any of the normal hurdles.
Let's move to part 4 and see how this builds into the actual financial snare, springing the trap.
Once they've got you on the hook, the trap snaps shut in 3 very precise steps. Step 1, like we just talked about, is that immediate hiring. That gets your guard completely down and fully commits you to the illusion that you are, in fact, an employee. Then comes step 2,
requesting equipment fees. They'll tell you that you need a very specific laptop, a specialized printer, or some proprietary software to do the job, and, of course, you're required to purchase it through their own approved vendor. To make this sound perfectly reasonable and completely safe, they execute Step 3, sending you a check to cover those exact costs. Think about the massive psychological relief a victim feels in this exact moment. Any lingering doubts just vanish. You're holding a physical, official-looking check, or you see a digital deposit hit your account. You think to yourself, well, they wouldn't send me real money if this were a scam. You feel entirely safe and validated right before the floor completely falls out from under you.
So what exactly is happening here? The absolute crucial point is understanding the hidden mechanics of a fake check. When you deposit that check into your mobile banking app, the funds might temporarily show up in your available account balance. And that's because the modern banking system is actually designed by law to give you quick access to deposited funds, usually within 24 hours. But here is the kicker. It is a completely fraudulent payment. The scammers are tricking you into taking those temporarily available funds and wiring real money, your actual money, to their fake vendor for this non-existent equipment. By the time the bank finally processes the transaction behind the scenes and realizes that initial check was completely worthless, the scammer has already vanished into thin air. The real money you sent, gone. And the absolute worst part, the bank holds you completely responsible for the negative balance. It's devastating.
All right, so how do we stop this from happening to you? Let's get into part 5, protecting your bank account.
And this brilliantly illustrates how to protect yourself, serving as a quick reference guide on how to verify these companies. Because it really comes down to recognizing some stark differences in behavior. Think about it. A real employer goes out of their way to verify you. A scammer just approaches you completely out of the blue on a casual texting app. A real employer is going to conduct thorough interviews, right? Usually involving multiple team members over video. A scammer, they offer you the job instantly via text. And most importantly, this is the big one, a real employer provides your tech directly. They will physically ship the company laptop straight to your front door at their own expense. A scammer, on the other hand, demands upfront fees or pressures you to buy the equipment yourself using their questionable check. By just comparing legitimate, standard business practices against the scammer's rushed, high-pressure tactics, you can instantly verify if the company you're talking to is the real deal.
We have covered a whole lot of ground in this explainer today, tracking this threat from that very first exciting text message all the way to the absolute devastation of the fake check trap. But I want to leave you with this final, really critical thought. The next time your phone lights up with what looks like the job offer of a lifetime, stop and ask yourself, are you verifying who is really on the other side of your screen before you accept the offer? Please keep that question right at the front of your mind during your job hunt. Stay safe out there, trust your gut, and thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.